in an open sky, a streak of gray, and a cheerful... A loop, a whirl, and a vertical climb, and once again, you know it's time for... Rocky and his friends. Starring that supersonic speedster, Rocket J. Squirrel, with his pal Bullwinkle the Moose, and a host of others.
Hurry, Bullwinkle! The show's about to start!
I'm coming as fast as I can.
Wave to the people!
Yay!
Now what are you writing?
Letter to the sponsor. Let's see. Dear sponsor.
That's not his name, Bullwinkle.
I know. You'll find out in a second.
Dentyne chewing gum!
Oh, lights!
Keep talking.
Dentyne.
Helps keep teeth sparkling white, beautifully clean. Dentyne! We're gonna have a lot of fun. Come on and join us.
Sure. There's always room for one more.
Chew, 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 help clean your teeth. Clean your teeth with Dentyne.
Yes, it's best to brush your teeth after meals to help remove food particles. But when that's not possible, chew delicious Dentyne gum. Dentyne is low in sugar, helps clean away trapped food particles, helps keep teeth sparkling white, beautifully clean. See your dentist regularly, and when you can't brush, chew Dentyne to help remove food particles.
Well, in the dramatic story of the monstrous mechanical metal-munching moon mice, our cast of characters grows and grows. On the one side are our heroes, Rocky and Bullwinkle, and their friends, Gidney and Cloyd, the moon men. On the other side, there are 100,000 moon mice.
Count them, 100,000.
Plus their leader, the Big Cheese.
Aliens Boris better, no?
And the arch-fiend behind the whole scheme, direct from the moon, Mr. Big himself.
Hello there, fans.
Mr. Big's plot was fiendishly simple.
But I explain anyway. It goes something like this. The mouse A eats the TV antenna B. Then the viewer C gets disgusted and leaves for some other country, D, where he can watch the Late Late Show. E. Then we move in and take over the whole country.
And what letter is that?
What else? USA.
So far, his plan is working just fine, and our heroes are feeling very low.
Gee, I'm feeling very low.
Yeah, here too.
'Cause I'm facing my TV set and it's bust.
Oh, cheer up, Rock. Looky, I found my old ukulele. Let me regale you with a ditty.
No thanks, Bullwinkle.
I'm Lulu baby, where'd you get them eyes? And that pink complexion that I like.
Please, Bullwinkle!
Oh, well, maybe you prefer come along to Auntie Skinner's chicken dinner. Do you want no pixie?
Enough already! Well, Rocky, this certainly proves one thing.
What's that?
There are some things worse than no television.
But if Cloyd could have been outside the house at that moment,
And you know that I am.
he would have seen a fearsome sight.
Oh, for Earth's sake! We're surrounded by moon mice!
Sure enough, it looked as if the moon mice were moving in for the kill, led, of course, by the Big Cheese himself, Boris Bennett. Boris, why, he isn't here. We'd better check out at the old Bleakley place.
Darling, what are you doing here in this empty room?
I'm suffering.
But why?
Natasha, we're ruined.
Oh, nonsense, darling. Not so long as we control moon mice.
That's just it, we don't.
Don't?
Don't. They ran out on me.
How could it was, Boris? They are just machines.
I don't know, but I find out, you bet.
And following the tracks of the fierce metal-munching monsters, Boris and Natasha soon came across them as they clustered around Rocky and Bullwinkle's little home. From inside the house came a strange sound.
Oh, bless you and keep you, Mother Macri.
Boris, take off your hat.
Why?
I think someone is dying in there.
Well, Natasha was almost right.
Rocky, I can't stand much more of that.
Cheer up, Gidney. He only knows a few more.
But just then, Cloyd faded in with his startling news.
Rocky, Bullwinkle, outside! Moon mice! Thousands of them! Moon mice!
Listen, what's that sound?
Sounds like they're gnashing their teeth.
They must be pretty hungry.
Oh, this is awful. Quick, Bullwinkle, call the sheriff.
Sheriff!
On the phone, I mean.
Oh, right, Bob. Hello, Griselda. Give me the... Hello?
Save your breath, Bullwinkle. Look here.
Sure enough, just outside the window, an enormous moon mouse was just devouring the phone wire like a piece of spaghetti.
All right, fellas, let's stick together now.
We'll sell our lives dearly. Kidney, this is no time to talk business.
And our friends huddle together for a last-ditch stand. Don't miss our next laugh-filled episode.
Laugh-filled? Yeah, it's a scream.
Bullwinkle bellows again, or moonin' low.
Look, Bullwinkle, a message in a bottle.
Fan mail from some flounder?
No, this is what I really call a message.
Now, Junior, the story of Bertrand, the uneager beaver.
Yeah, Pop?
Brother Dennis played tennis, and Owen loved rowing. But Bertie, he just couldn't get going. Then the boys wised him up to Cheerios.
There's toasted oat goodness, vitamin B1 for go power.
Now Bertie gets pow, pow, power all day, starting out the Cheerios way.
And the moral, kids?
You'll go for Cheerios.
The big G stands for goodness.
And now...
Hey, Rocky! Watch me pull a rabbit out of my hat.
Again?
Nothing up my sleeve. Presto! Ooh, don't know my own strength.
Now here's something we hope you'll really like.
Once upon a time in a castle high on a hill lived a rather peculiar king and his beautiful but unmarried daughter. The knights of the kingdom were always seeking the daughter's hand in marriage, which annoyed the king very much. So he consulted with the royal contractor and ordered him to build a mountain of glass. That's right, smooth, shiny glass. Then with a derrick, he had his daughter hoisted carefully into the air and placed on top of the glass fountain with a golden apple in her hand. Any suitor who could get to the top would gain the hand of the princess and the golden apple. But let's face it, that was going to be a pretty impossible thing to do. But our story is about an enchanted frog, remember? This frog's name was Filbert, and he lived with his mother and brother, Frank, in the forest. Every evening, all the animals would come to hear the frogs sing their song.
There's a little other frog in all of us, in all of us, in all of us. There's a little other frog in all of us, no matter who you be.
My, they were a very happy family, until one day when Filbert started to grow. He grew, and he grew, and he grew, until he was the world's only 5'8" frog.
But this means I'm not a frog at all, but an enchanted prince. I'm just afraid you'll have to carry on as a duet instead of a trio, for I must seek my fortune in the outside world. You do understand, don't you, Mama? I am an enchanted prince.
You're a big fat frog who has grown too big for his pond, that's what you are. It's a frog-eat-frog existence in the outside world, Filbert.
Oh, what do you know about it, Mama? After all, you're just a frog. You don't understand royalty.
And so Filbert made his way to the outside world.
Pardon me.
Oh, my goodness. A 5'8" frog.
But I'm not a frog. I'm an enchanted prince. Just because I'm green all over and...
And so, with a brand new suit of clothes, Filbert continued on his way. All this time, the princess had been sitting patiently at the top of a mountain of glass. She still had plenty of suitors, but the mountain was as slippery as ice, remember? And getting to the top was a difficult task indeed. In fact, there were those who claimed it was well-nigh impossible. Still, a princess and a golden apple aren't to be sneezed at, so the suitors kept on trying. But they really weren't very good at it.
That king is a nut. It just can't be done.
Oh, I don't know.
Who are you, stranger? And what are you hiding with that false face?
This isn't a false face. It's my face.
Nonsense. You're up to something. After him, men!
And the knights chased Filbert around the mountain, first clockwise, then counterclockwise, then both ways at once. There was nowhere to go but up. So up Filbert went.
Oh, brave prince, at last you come. Now I can leave this cold mountain of glass. Remove your false face so that I might see the hero who rescued me. What's that on with glue?
But, fair lady, this is my real face.
It is.
Mm-hmm.
My father's a nut. He has me sit up here in all kinds of weather, waiting for what? Some frog-faced knight. You can have the golden apple, but I'm leaving.
And the princess leaped off the mountain of glass and fell directly into the arms of the royal contractor who'd been waiting for just this chance. The happy pair ran off to get married. When the king saw what had happened, he was furious. Not only had a mere frog conquered his mountain of glass, but his daughter had run off with a commoner.
I want that frog shot at sunrise.
Uh-oh.
So poor Filbert was sent to the king's dungeon to await the firing squad.
Oh, dear, this is a frog-eat-frog world.
He thought of those happy days when he was just a plain frog, sitting in the sun, playing, singing, jumping.
Jumping. That's it.
The next morning, at sunrise, Filbert was led out to the wall.
Ready! Aim! Fire! By George, men, we obliterated him. There's nothing left of him but his blinking clothes.
Meanwhile, back at the forest, Filbert's mother and brother were waiting sadly. Suddenly, they heard a familiar sound that came closer and closer.
That's Filbert.
Hiya, Mom!
So, Filbert found it was really better to be a big frog in a small pond than a small frog on a big mountain. And besides, who can eat golden apples?
Every trail he rides leads to adventure. Clint Walker as Cheyenne Bodie. Every road he travels leads to excitement.
Could be an ambush. Hit it!
Ah, baby! Every man he meets learns quickly whether he's friend or foe.
Sorry, Sheriff. You won't listen to reason. You leave me no other choice.
Cheyenne using brawn and brain to survive in an untamed frontier where bullets spoke louder than the law.
We've done enough talking, Bodie. We're coming in for him. Nobody's taking my prisoner.
The Cheyenne Show, a full hour of spine-tingling action-adventure on ABC TV.
Time for that jolly juggler, Bullwinkle.
Oh, dear.
3 at once. 1, 2.
And now here's a feature you're sure to like.
3. Hello there, poetry lovers. Today's poem is a saga of the sports world entitled Jack be Nimble. Jack be nimble, Jack be quick. Jack jump over the cat.
Hold it, Moose.
Who are you?
Allow me to introduce myself. Nimble's the name. Jack B. Nimble.
Nimble?
My card.
High Jumps Incorporated. Candle wicks a specialty.
You sorry.
Well, I sort of thought of jumping over this one myself.
Yourself? You got union card?
What union?
Local 89, Hop, Skip, and Jumpers Union?
Well, no.
You jump over that thing and we'll snuff out every candle in town.
Okay, you do it.
No, you talking.
Jack be nimble, Jack be quick, Jack jump over the candle wick.
Ta-da! That'll be $40.
$40? How come?
Minimum wage law.
Minimum wage law?
Certainly. Minimum wage is $1 an hour.
So?
So obviously I get $40 a week.
Presenting Frosty the Bear.
With my supercharging sugar cane and
Frostios.
Cookie Crisp Oats, sugar charged. They're super delicious, really nutritious.
You'll be supercharged.
Get the goodness in sugar charged oats.
Frostios.
The big G stands for goodness.
And now...
Hey, Rocky, what watch me pull a rabbit out of my hat.
Again?
Nothing up my sleeve. Presto!
Wrong hat.
I take a 7.5.
Now here's something we hope you'll really like.
Peabody here. The reason for the Parkers and Mittens is that Sherman and I are about to embark on a polar expedition.
The Wayback Machine's all warmed up, Mr. Peabody.
So are we, Sherman. Set the indicator for the year 1909. For today, we visit that famous explorer, Commander Perry. Hitting on all 4s, 6s, and 8s, the Wayback shuttled us back through the years till we were standing on a frozen ice pack. We scanned the surrounding wasteland for a sign of the famous Arctic explorer and finally saw him emerge from behind an icy hill.
Look at him, Mr. Peabody. He's wearing track shorts and carrying a pole.
I beg your pardon, Commander, but aren't you freezing?
Yes, but I can't let a little thing like that stop me.
But how can you discover the North Pole dressed that way?
Who said anything about discovering it? I want to vault it.
A pole vaulter? Hmm?
The best in my school. Say hello to the coach for me.
We've got to stop him, Mr. Peabody.
On the contrary, Sherman, he can't vault the pole until he discovers it. Commander Perry made his way across the ice, and we followed. Along about noon, a blinding snowstorm came up, obliterating everything. However, Perry's footprints went on, and so did we. When the storm abated, I had a strong suspicion we had lost the commander. Fortunately, about an hour later, we picked up Perry's trail.
Look at that, a whole bunch of footprints.
There has been a struggle here, Sherman. I'm afraid the commander has been captured by Eskimos. My fears were substantiated when Sherman and I came across a village of igloos. One of them, with barred windows, contained the great explorer. Commander Perry!
Is that you, Coach?
No, it's Peabody and Sherman. Can you get hold of something to cut your way through the ice blocks?
The guard has a saw on him. I'll ask him.
No, wait! Too late. Perry was on his way.
Pardon me, guard. Can I borrow your saw? See, 2 friends of mine are trying to help me escape, you see, and
that is how Sherman and I also fell into the hands of the Eskimos.
Eskimo must kill 'em explorers.
But why, Chief? Why do you hate us so?
Last year, one of your kind sell 'em refrigerated to Eskimo. Eskimo no like 'em to be made fool of. You die tonight.
That evening, just after sundown, we waited in the igloo jail.
we've got to get out of this. I'm in the Olympics next year, you know.
Did the chief really mean what he said, Mr. Peabody?
I'm afraid so, Sherman, but never fear, I shall think of something. And of course I did. I remembered it was Friday, and Friday night in Eskimo land was movie night. The Eskimos sat through an entire reel of Nanook of the North, and then we went into action. Intermission time! Intermission! Get your hot buttered popcorn here.
You got 'em popcorn?
Why, yes, we cater all through the North, you know. Form a line there, please. The picture will go on in a few minutes. Now, sir, what would you like?
Popcorn.
Oh, I'm sorry. We seem to have run out of popcorn.
No got 'em popcorn left?
Afraid not. It's back with our supplies. However, if you'll let us go, we'll bring back a fresh supply.
Can you make 'em back here before cartoon goes on?
We'll certainly try. Moments later, the 3 of us were dashing for freedom.
You fooled him, Mr. Peabody.
Yes, I had, but I hadn't reckoned with Commander Perry's erratic behavior.
What happened to him? He was running right beside us, and then all of a sudden...
It was against my better judgment, but if I knew Perry, he'd be back at the Eskimo village. And sure enough, in aisle 4, row 3, the commander was seated, completely enraptured by the second reel of Nanook of the North.
Psst! Mr. Perry!
Oh, hello there. Did you bring back the popcorn with you?
Commander, you don't seem to realize your position.
Oh, yes, I do. It's aisle 4, row 3.
Well, Sherman, if the mountain won't come to Perry, then Perry shall go to the mountain. Or in this case, the North Pole. Well, you can imagine the Eskimo's surprise when suddenly the screen upon which the movie was showing started moving away.
Am I pulling too fast?
No, you're doing just fine, Sherman. As we pulled the screen over the ice, the Eskimos and Commander Perry moved with us. We had a captive audience.
I sure hope the picture doesn't end.
Don't worry, my boy. I looked at the schedule. They're also showing 4 March of Times and a Rocky and Bullwinkle cartoon. By the time dawn broke over the Arctic, the movie had ended, the Eskimos had gone home, and Perry, pole in hand, was ready to resume his quest for the North Pole. Your quest is ended, Commander, because you're standing on the North Pole.
I am? Say, this is wonderful.
To show his appreciation, Perry presented us with a tame seal.
He sure is cute, Mr. Peabody.
Yes, but I don't know how we'll get him on the back of an envelope.
Where?
Well, you see, Sherman, this is the Christmas season. And on the back of my Christmas cards, I always put a Christmas seal.
This lesson is mighty important, remember?
Bullwinkle is a...
Not that lesson. This lesson.
Choo-choo, help clean your teeth. Clean your teeth with Dentyne.
Delicious Dentyne chewing gum. Yes, you know it's best to clean your teeth with a toothbrush right after meals to help remove trapped food particles. Now, that's not always possible, but you can always chew handy, delicious Dentyne chewing gum. Dentyne is low in sugar and especially made to help clean away trapped food particles that may cause trouble. Dentyne was tested at 5 leading dental colleges. Remember, if you can't always carry a toothbrush, Dentyne is a handy, helpful way to help keep teeth sparkling white, beautifully clean. Yes?
Chew, 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 help clean your teeth. Clean your teeth with Dentyne.
See your dentist regularly, and when you can't brush, chew Dentyne to help remove food particles.
Last time you remember, Bullwinkle's ukulele concert was interrupted by the appearance of thousands of monstrous moon mice who began to close in on our friends until they were surrounded on all sides.
There's another way to be surrounded.
On the outskirts of the mob of moon mice were Boris and Natasha, who seemed to have lost control over the fearsome creatures.
What you're doing, darling?
I'm checking wiring on this one, Natasha. Crossover terminal here, overload plate there.
Where does this wire go, darling?
Natasha, please, that may be live wire.
How do I know if it's live wire?
Well, if you touch it like this and it goes...
Boris! Oh, dear. Now I'll never know if it's live or not.
Meanwhile, behind their barricades, our heroes were still determined to fight to the finish against overwhelming odds.
How about a keen fight song, fellas?
Do you have to?
Fight, fight, fight for frostbite high. Flying our colors to the sky.
What colors, Bullwinkle?
Pomegranate and puce. Cheer and cheer and cheer again. Fight with might, but mostly main.
If it's all the same to you, Bullwinkle, I'd rather have the moon mice.
It was then that the monstrous mechanical mice did a remarkable thing.
Bullwinkle, they're applauding.
I can't think why.
Sure enough, the moon mice seemed entranced by Bullwinkle's song.
Rocky, they're not here as a menace.
No?
They're here as an audience.
A friendly audience.
That means Bullwinkle must be able to control them with his voice.
Bullwinkle, you're an honest-to-goodness Pied Piper.
With my own set of pipes, too.
You're a regular Elvis Pretzel.
Meantime, Natasha was trying to revive a shocked Boris.
Out goes the good air. In comes the bad. Out goes...
Pardon me, miss, but isn't that out goes the bad air, in comes the good?
Darling, Boris hates anything good.
Yeah, so shut up your mouth, wise guy.
Sorry.
Boris, you're your nasty old self again.
Natasha, we got to get control of moon mice back again.
Right. What are mice doing now, darling?
Listen closely.
Oh, bury me not on the lone prairie.
Boris, they're crazy about Moose's singing.
Well, two can play at that game. Natasha, hand me my belly like it. And my big cheese disguise.
Here, darling.
Me.
And then began one of the strangest battles of all time, a musical contest to capture the affection of 100,000 moon mice.
You ain't nothing but the moon mouse. Munching all the time.
Come along to Auntie Skinner's chicken dinner, the one who picks a wishbone.
All I ask is don't step on my blue suede tail.
There must be little cupies in the briny. There must be little cupies in the sea.
You're my little high school moon mouse.
Bullwinkle, look! Your audience is leaving you.
Looks like your singing career's over already.
Man, that was the shortest career I ever had.
Yes, the moon mice were leaving the boys' cottage and heading right for Boris.
Looks like you won, darling.
What I told you, Natasha. You can't keep a good rat down.
Well, it seems Bullwinkle has sprained his tonsils for nothing at all.
Yeah.
The moon mice are going back to Boris.
Yeah.
And the whole country is obviously doomed.
Well, that's showbiz.
Don't miss our next exciting episode, Bungo Boris or the Hep Cat.
That's Hep Rat.
I drop in? I'm Twinkles, the magic elephant. I tell a story on every box of new Twinkles, the only cereal in the storybook package. Tear this magic line, and your storybook package opens. I've got so many stories to tell. Why, I remember how once I got trapped in a deep pit. I had to rev up my rotor tail to escape. Another time, I was chased by elephant-eating sharks. And I had to turn my magic trunk into a harpoon gun. Oh, you like my Twinkle stories. And wait till you taste Twinkles. Delicious stars with a goodness of energy oats and corn. Only Twinkles has the storybook package. Tear the magic line, and there I am with all my friends. Look for us on Twinkles, the only cereal in the storybook package.
Well, it looks as if our time is just about run out.
Just enough left to tell them who the sponsor was.
ABC, the network that brings you Cheyenne every Monday over most of these stations.
Got the credits, Bullwinkle?
All on this itty-bitty card. Oops.
We're late again, Bullwinkle.
Right.